Hello everyone and welcome to this week's weekly recap from May 4th through May 8th. And as always, let's go! And coming to the Wednesday, this is where we continue Final Fantasy 9 on the Eva tree, and inside the Eva tree we find a boss who happens to be the source of the mist. After beating it, we find out that Iko's village has been attacked, or better said, something has been stolen. After that, Iko is kidnapped by Lani, you know, the little hunter that was sent after us by Braun, and we get helped out by a little guy called the Red-Headed Man. But he wants to fight him, so we fight him soul with Zidane. After that, Iko actually keeps the item and she permanently joins our party. After this, we get a little event between Garnet and Zidane, and she actually remembers this village being attacked and she pretty much passes out. After that, we try to leave the village, and the Red-Headed Man is revealed as Amaranth joins our party as well. As that, we return to the Eva tree and Braun is attacked by Kuja, and followed up by that, she summons Behemoth. After we run down to the hell of a tree, Garnet frees Leviathan, and turns out Leviathan is no use for this point. After this, Kuja brainwashes Behemoth and Braun ends up dying. The party is later split up between all of Alexandria, because everyone has to go do their own thing. In the meantime, Iko writes a love letter, which is a little funny event I like to mention, that causes Steiner and Beatrix to fall in love. After that, the group meets up again, and they all go to the castle to meet Garnet. And after that, Freya, Iko, Zidane, Vivi, and Amaranth head to Trino, and that's where we call love on the Wednesdays. And continue where we left off on the Wednesdays. This is where we continue in Trino. First thing we do is a couple of auctions, because I had to still get some items. Followed up by the card tournament, and we actually get very lucky. We get a perfect game in the final match after the second try, actually. Nonetheless, after that, we find out that Sid is the actual champion of the card gaming, and this is where Alexandria gets attacked. Beatrix and Steiner protect the towns, and after that, we head to Alexandria in Sid's airship. That is how we came to Trino. After a few little events happen, Iko actually floats down somehow and ends up next to Garnet. Together, they summon Alexander. Alexander beats Behemoth that was summoned by Kuja, and one little thing we do in between is kill the optional boss in the library of Alexandria. After that, we get the cutscene of Zidane saving Garnet, and Alexander is destroyed by Garland. Who Garland is, you will soon notice. After we get back to Limblum, Garnet loses her voice of all the stress that has happened to her. So yeah, we have to then get a couple of potions to cure Sid, and actually we don't cure him, but he ends up from going from an Oglop to a frog. It is after this that we also find out that the Black Mages have now officially joined back to Kuja, because they have been promised to extend their life. Unless we do a little bit of a grinding, because they had to level up a couple of things, and that's where we are captured by Kuja. And after that we choose Zidane, or actually we don't choose him, we choose Amaranth, Karina, and Freya for a little mission that Kuja sends us on. And for the Fridays, we end up going on our mission to Ulivert. We have to get the stone for Kuja with the job we started yesterday. Nonetheless, it's not much of a special dungeon. We work through some small puzzles, we grind up a bit, and we fight the boss. It's pretty much like a giant ship. After that, while we do that, Sid frees the rest of the party, or at least we do that with a little minigame of a red light, green light, if you know. You move when he's not looking, and stop when your thing is about to turn. Nonetheless, after that, we work through the Desert Palace with the rest of the remaining party members, and eventually we find one giant stone boss. Apparently we missed one stone though, so we pretty much disabled everything except one ability. I mean, still better than skipping everything. Nonetheless, the party comes back together, and Kuja gets the stone, and Ika gets kidnapped, and we go to Mount Guluk to free Iko from preventing what they did to Garnet, stealing her Eidolons and stuff. Nonetheless, apparently Mok is turned out to be an Eidolon, and he becomes some giant-ass lion. After that, both Zorn and Thorn fuse into one, and they were one hell of an easy fight. Nonetheless, we actually find Hilda, we save her, and finally, Sid gets to become a human again. And then Garnet disappears for some reason. Apparently she is going to the resting place of her mother, Queen Braun. And this is where Garnet cuts her hair, goes to short hair. Yeah, we actually get the ship, and we get free to fly around, which is amazing. So we do a little bit of Auction Trino, some Chocobo minigaming, get the Chocobo rest and stuff. And we upgrade our Chocobo to the Blue Chocobo. And coming down to Retro Saturdays, this is where we start a new game after finishing last week with Ocarina of Time, the 3 Heart Challenge. And this is where we play Pikmin. So yeah, pretty much the same basic story as always. You're in space, and you get hit by a meteor, and you crash into this unknown planet. This is where we do the intro area. We gather about 15 Pikmins, which is about pretty much the standard to actually get to the second area of the thing. And we got our first part, the engine. So yeah, pretty much every area went as planned as always. We get the yellow Pikmin, we get the blue Pikmin. In the end, we got a 16 out of 30 parts, so we can most likely assume that next Saturday I will be finishing this game. A few little random things that happened is I accidentally killed 50 pigmen in one explosion. That was very unfortunate, you could say. We cleared almost 3 areas out, which has led us to that 16 parts I just mentioned. So let's finish this game next week, off to the Sundays. Continuing where we left off on the last Friday with Final Fantasy 9, we go to Ipsen Castle, which has a pretty much of a reversed technology. So said, the stronger you are outside the castle, the weaker you are on the inside. I did like 4 to 5k damage outside, which would let me do like 100 damage inside. The hell. Now let's get to do a little better with Amaranth and who's gonna be first at the 4 mirrors. So 4 mirrors, we get there. Of course, a little obvious boss fight, and as we learn about 4 locations with 4 bosses. The teams are as following: Garnet plus Eco, Freya plus Amaranth, Vivi plus Steiner, and myself with Zidane go with Quina. We beat the bosses simultaneously, like everyone gets their own fight, but we only fight as Zidane and Quina. That's where we head to Shimmering Island, and we finally end up in Terra. And this is where we meet Garland. You remember that name from earlier? Well, you're gonna learn it now. Apparently, Garland is the sort creator of Terra and whatnot. Well, not Terra, about the people who live on Terra. And we also find out this is Zidane's home, and he was created by Garland. The race that Zidane belongs to is called the Genomes, and this is where Zidane gets confused about being real or not. So yeah, eventually he gets like sort of kidnapped, he wants to be alone, and every one of your friends joins you one by one. Work yourself to 3 bosses, followed by another 3 bosses after Zidane gets realized like his friends are his power. So the 3 bosses in a row are the following ones: the Silver Dragon, Garland, and Kuja. After beating Kuja, he goes into trance and pretty much destroys Terra after finding out he will die soon. The Genomes, we take them away and they move in with the Black Mages, and that's pretty much do some random stuff, do the Chocobo, some card games, you know, the regular good old. And as always, thank you for watching this week's weekly recap. If you would like to see more, would you want to see more, hit up that subscribe button. Did you like this video, feel free to give me a thumbs up. Would you like to see me live sometimes, click on the Twitch thing on the left or go to the description, go click the link there. And of course, don't forget to follow me, because you get a notification when I go live. And as always, if you'd like to see last week's video, click on the video down below. And as always, this is Ratkanos, and I'm out. And I'll see you guys in next week's recap.